Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Furi walkthrough, and this is on the Furi Difficulty, which is the middle difficulty of 3 difficulties. This is the first boss in the game, and the title of this stage is called The Chain. These first two forms are tutorial, and you'll notice on the screen right now, the game is introducing you to the concept of how you play. And the controls are very simple, guys. There's not too much to them, but it is 100% about how you use them. So you'll notice right here, it's going all flashy, crazy animations. I'm charging what looks like a UT from Ninja Gaiden, and it's going into a cutscene to show us that this boss is moving along his life bars. Which brings us to the second of his phases, or his second form. If you look in the top right, underneath you'll notice there are some orange cubes. Each one of those cubes is a life bar consisting of 2 life bars, a blue bar and a red bar. In the top left you have my life, which is those cubes. Below it are my 3 continues that I get, where you resurrect upon losing all your life, full life, in the wave that you were on. And that's pretty much the way that this game is going to work for every one of the bosses. This is a boss rush game, and out of respect for what the developers mentioned when they hooked me up with this copy, so big thank you to the game bakers, is they did not want me to show any of the story towards the end, because believe it or not, Furi has a pretty good story, and it has a pretty great twist. So this is literally just going to be the fights. This is the meat of the gameplay, but there are other interactions. I'm just not going to be showing those at the moment, guys. That will be in my hard walkthrough, because it lets me talk a lot more. But right now, the game is showing you that there will be shooting aspects, where you can use the right stick to shoot at people, and you can dodge and parry while you're doing so. Once you lose the blue bar, which is effectively the range part of the encounter, it will go close quarters, where you are fenced into this circle, and you cannot shoot anymore. You have to go mano a mano against the boss. This takes various forms. What I'm doing here is I'm holding the attack button to charge a move, I'm dodging what this enemy does, and then I'm releasing the charge, and it's doing that ultimate technique-esque stun attack, which then leads to dealing some serious damage. We've now moved into the next phase, and you'll notice that the boss has a gold aura around him. Whenever the characters go gold like this, it means they cannot be damaged, they are invincible at that point. You've got to wait for him to lose the aura to hurt him. This is when the fight actually begins. So, the way to think about Furi is you have 2 main attacks. You have your gun and you have your sword. Your gun can be charged to fire a big blast that does more damage, but of course it takes longer to charge and you're less mobile. You have the sword, which does a standard 4-hit combo, or you can use charge attacks with the sword, which will stun the enemy and let you do big damage on a counter-attack like this. The final way to use your offense is to parry, which is circle on the controller, and if you press it just as you're about to get hit, it is very tight, you will stun the opponent and immediately go into a counter-attacking animation. If you do a guard that isn't perfect and doesn't get that parry, you will block, and you will notice your character will glow green. You see that? That indicates that you blocked an attack, and you were able to get some HP back. There's 2 ways to get HP back in this game. One of them is through blocking. Well, technically there's 3, sorry. One is blocking. One is at the end of a phase of one of those green blocks, which is 2 life bars. You will be fully healed for the next one. Very fair. Great idea. And then the final one, there are certain projectiles that once destroyed will drop green life pickups. This right here is when they telegraph a move. You'll notice that there was a massive area of red. Within that zone, if you stand there when he swings, you will take damage, and you'll have to either iframe through the hit with your dash, or you've got to get to the zone that's not covered in his attack. To do this, you use your dash. The dash in this game is probably the most technical part of it, in my opinion. If you tap it, you'll do a quick dash, but it doesn't have that much distance. If you hold it, you can charge the distance of your dash. The problem is, you can't quite tell just how far you're going to go, because there's no visual indicator. It's something that has to be felt and has to be learned, and it will not come too quickly because it's probably the most technical part, as I've mentioned, of getting used to how your character controls. That being said, on this difficulty, which is called Furi, which is technically normal, you shouldn't have too many issues with it, because for the most, There is challenge here, and it is quite difficult in certain areas, but you don't have to be too crazy precise just yet. That will come in hard difficulty, and let me tell you guys, when you play this game on Furia, which is the unlockable difficulty, it takes quite a step up on the difficulty chart, and that's coming from this difficulty, which is pretty challenging as well. So you might wonder, why aren't I doing hardest difficulty? I actually think this difficulty is hard enough. If I were to make a choice, I think this should potentially have been hard, because there are certain patterns in this that get really crazy and set you up for what hard is going to be like. So I'm doing a walkthrough for this one as well, because there will be people struggling on this, because it is legitimately challenging. Fury is a game where you do not learn any upgrades, you do not improve as a character, you do not get better swords, you do not get better moves, you don't get any of that stuff. You start as capable as you will end the game. The only thing that changes is you, the player, and your expertise at using your abilities. And it's one of the greatest and strongest aspects of this game. When you play all the way through and come back to the beginning, you are completely different mentality-wise, and you'll know exactly what I mean when you get your hands on the game. But this is the final life bar, and the final life bar means he's going to do an ultimate attack, where he will generally cover the screen in bullets, and this will last for quite a long time, but the moment it stops, if you can attack him, you will end the fight and you will win. This particular pattern here, these blue orbs can be neutralised with my gun, but that purple band has to be dodged over. So this is just teaching you that there are certain orbs that you can cut your path through, and there are certain ones that you cannot. And this is a little bit of an intricate ballet of going between areas where we can carve our path and moving out of the way of things we cannot destroy. For instance, those browny orange-looking balls. If you see a projectile like that, it can be parried backwards, but it cannot be neutralised with the gun. And this is his final attack. He's going to do a string of these moves, so get out of the way of them. What I'm doing here is I'm charging by holding square, and I'm still dodging by pressing X, because you can dodge while you're charging in this game. You can also parry while you're charging too. It's a little awkward on your hand because the game doesn't allow you to reconfigure the buttons, but once you get used to it, it's not too bad. But you will have to claw or do something quite magical with your hand. Fingers crossed they release a patch that enables us to configure the controls, because if we could, you could put things like that on the triggers and then you would be able to shoot your gun without having to do finger gymnastics, which is one of my criticisms of the game. But so far, I am really, really liking this, and I'm really, really grateful that I've been able to bring this walkthrough to the channel. So please stick with it, guys. Please check out Fury when it comes out July 5th, and please stick with the walkthrough, because if you're going to struggle with this game, and you just might, it's pretty damn tough, hopefully my videos can get you through here. So thanks for watching, and you take care now.